Hi and welcome. You are tuned in to CPAP for beginners and experts. I'm your host, Chris, with AffinityHM.com. And here we cover news, product reviews, tips, and knowledge, everything that you need to make your CPAP, APAP, and or BiPAP give you the best sleep of your life. So tonight we're going to be talking about 28 tips that make CPAP much easier that everyone should know. So we're going to go through them really fast because I don't want to keep you here a long time. We're going to go through the tips very fast. If you have questions, feel free to comment. And also at the end, let me show you, we are going to be having a giveaway. So if you would type into comments, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you are, just type into comments, hashtag Affinity HM, and that is going to enter you into the drawing. Somebody is going to win a gift card to our website, affinityhm.com. So let's go ahead and jump right into these tips. We're going to start with number one. Again, we're going through 28 of them, so feel free to ask questions about the tips if you wish. And tip number one, narrow your range of pressure. So if you're brand new, and if you have an APAP, APAP stands for auto positive airway pressure. Auto means that it actually runs at a range of pressure. And over the past 5 years or so, many prescriptions have been coming out with pressures that have very wide ranges, like 4 to 20, for example. And what we have learned over these years is that when the range of pressure is very wide like that, even if it's, let's say, 10 to 16, that's a fairly wide range of pressure. As the pressure changes, sometimes that actually wakes you up. So it might not be the best thing. Possibly just getting a static pressure, one pressure that's the best for you might be good, or a smaller range of pressure between 2 and 4 of a difference. That is always helpful. Of course, you're going to have to talk to your doctor. You need a new prescription before making that kind of a change. Now, we're going to be just jumping around. We're not going in any particular order, best to worst, worst to best, none of that, but just in a random order. Mask liners is tip number 2. If you're having any kind of skin problem with that silicone mask on your face, especially at this time of the year, it's 95 degrees here in Alabama today. So I know tonight, it's going to be hot. And with that silicone, it just heats up and causes problems and rashes for many people on their skin. Check out mask liners. Rimsey's is a really good one, and there are many others, but a mask liner provides a barrier between you and that silicone, and they really work super well. Tip number 3, join us here on YouTube. Subscribe, or if you're on Facebook, make sure you join the Facebook group CPAP for Beginners. And so here's tip number 4. You need a regular sleep schedule. Having that circadian rhythm in place is super important. So make sure, if you can, go to bed about the same time every night and wake up about the same time every morning. Make sure you're getting somewhere around 8 to 10 hours in that bed, and keep it on a regular schedule. It makes a huge difference. It trains your body and makes it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. Tip number 5, we're going fast through these, guys, so I hope you're staying with us here. Tip number 5 is exercise. So obviously it's important to exercise, but for more reasons than one. Obviously, it's going to make your lungs and your heart stronger. It's going to help you stay more trim and fit, but also exercise does affect your sleep. It's like a scale that goes up and then goes down. So whenever you exercise, what happens is you get pumped up. So it's best to exercise in the morning or midday, but then you actually decline down into a state where it makes it much easier to go to sleep. So the more you exercise, especially if it's on a regular basis, the easier it is to fall asleep and the better sleep you are going to get. Now, here's a unique one. You might not have heard this before, but wearing socks while you sleep actually makes a huge difference in how long you can stay in REM sleep once you're there. There's like thermostat adjustments to the body within the feet, and so if your feet are nice and warm and cozy, you're typically going to stay asleep better and get better REM sleep. Now, here's something that I definitely do every single night is use the white noise. Now, there's a lot of new research about brown noise and pink noise, and I don't know, maybe purple noise, but there's a lot of different types of noises. Some different noises will work better for some people. But for me, it's white noise that's best, kind of a staticky sort of sound. And having that not only is something that can kind of lull you into sleep, but it'll help you stay asleep as it drowns out other noises that you might hear while you're sleeping. So, by the way, if you just now are joining, make sure that you type into comments hashtag AffinityHM so that you're going to be into the contest to win a gift card here a little bit later on. And also, I wanted to just give a shout out to our sponsor. We have a new sponsor who is my wife. My wife has a boutique. It's called Pretty Things Boutique. Let me just put that up on the screen here. She puts up with so much from me, and I wanted to just give her shop a shout out. It's down here in Alabama. There is a website, as you can see. It's prettythingsboutique.com. And I just wanted to give her a shout out and say thank you for all that she does for us and putting up with me doing these videos for you guys. So check it out, ladies and guys, for gifts. It's a wonderful little shop. As a matter of fact, that's where I am right now. So let's move on. Tip number 8. You might not like me anymore now, but no food or alcohol immediately before bed. At least a couple of hours before bedtime. It's really good to let that digestion, from a food standpoint, make the digestion happen already before you're trying to go to sleep. It makes a big difference. And then from an alcohol standpoint, when one drinks alcohol and then goes to sleep, it causes something that has been well studied. It's called segmented sleep. So you then, instead of sleeping long periods in the REM sleep, you're sleeping a little bit, waking up, sleep a little bit, wake up. Now, you might not get up and out of bed, but it will actually wake you up so many times through the night that it's much more difficult to actually get into REM sleep. Here's another tip number 9. No TV or phone or computer right before bedtime. And now you're saying, well, Chris, all right, so no alcohol, no food, no TV, no, what am I going to do? I would suggest a really great thing to do a couple of hours before bedtime is actually consider reading. And just some medium light, reading a book. The reason you don't want to get onto that phone and TV, etc., is the light that is emitted. They have researched and discovered that it's very similar to the light one sees in a sunrise. And if you're seeing that light, it's kind of instinctive almost for us to kind of wake up when we see a sunrise, right? Well, if you're looking at your phone 5 minutes before you go to sleep, it's likely going to try to keep you into an awake state and much harder to actually fall asleep. Here's another really good one. No visible clock. So I can't tell you how many times when I used to keep my clock close by, I would wake up in the middle of the night, and especially if I had not been sleeping well. And if I noticed that, well, let's say it's 4 o'clock and I'm waking up at 6 a.m., I would tell myself, oh my gosh, I only have 2 more hours and I really haven't slept. So all of these things, it just makes it harder to sleep. So it's best to just remove the clock or flip it around backwards so that you can't see what time it is, and just ignore what time it is. Your clock is going to go off and you're going to alarm just fine. You don't have to even worry. All right. Tip number 11, keep that mask clean. So a dirty mask is a leaky mask. If it's getting the oils from your skin onto the silicone, it's going to, not only will it get hardened faster and much more difficult for it to actually create a seal, but also if you have that oil from your skin, it just makes it much harder for the mask to actually seal up. So washing that mask with warm soapy water on a regular basis, daily, ideally, if you can, and just keeping it clean, I promise you it will seal better. Now, eventually, whether you keep it clean or not, the silicone begins to harden over time, and it becomes more and more difficult to actually keep it and make it seal. So eventually you have to just change out the mask. But in the meantime, keeping that mask clean definitely creates a better seal. Tip number 12 out of 28. Tip number 12 is use your CPAP while watching TV. Now, this is a particularly useful tip for those who are brand new on CPAP. If you, let's say you just got your CPAP in the last week or two or month or so, and you're just having a lot of difficulty acclimating, just getting used to the whole idea of having a mask, a hose, all of this pressure coming in. Well, watching TV is something that is very distracting. So you can, not even intending to fall asleep, you just go to your sofa, your recliner, put a good movie on, and put your CPAP mask on. You don't even have to put the headgear on. You can just hold the mask if it's brand new and you're just getting used to it. Just hold the mask and watch a good TV show or even a movie. What you will find is that eventually you'll go ahead and put the headgear on, make it snug, just as if you're going to sleep. Watching this movie will distract you so much that you will become acclimated to the breathing with the CPAP, and it makes it a whole lot easier. Not to mention, if you need to get hours in on the CPAP, it's helpful in that respect as well. All right, so now tip number 13, don't adjust your own pressure. Now, there may be others on YouTube or Facebook that will tell you how to adjust your pressure. Many of you probably already know how to do that. I don't recommend doing that. And here's why. It's because you don't know what you don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't adjust people's pressure. I only adjust pressure based on a prescription, because they have studied and they know the things that we don't know that we don't know. So you just never know what changing a pressure might do in other respects. So it's always best to go to the sleep physician and make sure that if you want a pressure change, they typically will let that happen and do that with you. And plus, it keeps them in the loop. And again, you don't know what you don't know, and they likely do. So they may have other ideas as well, other than just changing the pressure. So I just highly recommend, don't ever change your own pressure. It can lead you down a path that is not productive. Tip number 14, be sure that when you are filling that heated humidifier, that you're using distilled water. Using distilled water. So distilled water is simply water that has no minerals, which means without the minerals, if the minerals are in the water, let's say you're using tap water, when the water evaporates, those minerals will not evaporate. They will tend to just stay as a white film on the inside of your tank. And then that is the perfect breeding ground, the perfect hiding place for mold, bacteria, virus, etc., to grow. And it's hard to clean too, because it's sort of calcified, very difficult to clean that. So using distilled water will keep your humidifier cleaner and help you have a much lower chance of getting a sinus infection due to that. So it's worth it to use the distilled water, making the trips to the store for the gallon jugs. 15, keep the CPAP slightly lower than your head. So this again is for a new CPAP user. And on our Facebook group, I've noticed that there are quite a few people talking about having the CPAP it kept falling off the table, so I just put it on the floor. Not really a good idea at all to put it all the way down on the floor, for a couple of reasons. It shortens the hose so much that you may pull that and cause that water to slosh into the machine. Bad. That's going to tear up your machine. Secondly, now my house is clean. I'm sure your house is clean. So, but however, no matter how clean your house is, there's dust on the floor. And so that dust is just going to accumulate in your filter and just make everything dirty faster. So get it up off the floor, but make sure you don't bring it up too high. You want your machine actually lower than your head. And the reason for that is, so if there is any water rainout in the tubing, or if you happen to tilt that machine, the water can't run all the way up into your nose and or mouth. So just slightly lower than your head is the perfect position on your bedside table. Tip number 16, be sure your mask size is correct. This is probably one of the most common problems that I see in CPAP use. So on our website, you can look at, we have different masks on our website, and there should be a sizing gauge that you can print out and actually use the piece of paper to make a measurement from here to here if you're using a full face mask. If you're using a nasal mask, your measurements are from here to here. And taking these measurements will tell you what size is best for you. So it's super crucial to use the proper size mask. Obvious reasons: you don't want leaks. Leaks cause apneas. All right, tip number 17, start off every night with CPAP. So you want to be sure that every single night you at least start off using the CPAP. Now, don't beat yourself up if you're brand new on CPAP, especially. If you're just getting started, maybe not acclimated, start the night off every single night. And within about a month of doing that, you'll be sleeping all the way through the night. Perhaps in the beginning, you may only get an hour or two, or maybe you never fall asleep and you just end up taking it off. Now, I don't recommend taking it off at all, but I'm just telling you that a process, a method of helping you get used to it is to make that commitment to at least start the night off using the CPAP. And then naturally, what will happen is you'll just get better and better and better at it, and sleeping all the way through the night. As a matter of fact, you'll come back and say, you know what? No, you can't take my CPAP away no matter what. Tip number 18, dry mouth. Now, regarding dry mouth, we got a couple of different things I want to tell you about. One is Xylamelts. That's a common throat lozenge type of thing that just helps keep your mouth moist through the night. Also, you don't want to be dehydrated. So if you're going to bed dehydrated, then you're going to more likely have a dry mouth. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water. And also, your mouth might be coming open if you have dry mouth. So try a chin strap. We have chin straps on our website called Knightsbridge chin strap. More on the way. We're out of a few different sizes. But check out the Knightsbridge chin strap. They are absolutely wonderful. Now, I know we're going really fast. I hope you have some questions in here for me. We're going to do Q&A. And also, we are definitely going to be doing a giveaway here as we're going through these 28. We're on number 19 right now. But if you haven't already, type into comments #AffinityHM, and you're going to be entered into the drawing for a free gift card to Affinity HM. And also a shout out to my wife, Pretty Things Boutique. You guys go check it out. It's a wonderful store. She has a great website. It's Pretty Things Boutique. That's how we spell it down in Alabama. PURDYTHANGZ boutique.com. And she's got a lot of really great stuff on there for you guys as well. That's our sponsor, my wife, who puts up with me. Okay, sleep position. Now we have a few different things I want to say about sleep position. It's okay to sleep in any position. However, there are some that are better than others. So would you want to sleep on your back? No, not really. Unless you have to sleep on your back. So sleeping on your back, it allows gravity to push down on your tongue and these other anatomical parts that increase apneas. So sleeping on your back is really not recommended. If you can sleep on your side, but what about your right side? Well, that's a maybe. However, it's not the best. The very best side to sleep on, and this has been studied, especially for people with sleep apnea, always best to sleep on your left side. It allows digestion. It's better for your respiratory. It has to do with where your heart is and where your lungs are. And so sleeping on your left side is definitely the best way to go. Tip number 20, join a Facebook group. Now, there's actually 3 Facebook groups that I want to talk about. One is CPAP for Beginners. That's our Facebook group that we sponsor. Another really super good one is called CPAP Therapy. Check that one out. The members there have a lot of really great answers for people. It's a lot of fun to be there. And then thirdly, CPAP Support Group. Now, there are actually a couple of those, and both of them are good. I'm a member of all of those, and I think they are all wonderful. Tip number 21. Check out CPAP Academy for Beginners. Now, that is a program that we set up here. There's a small fee involved. You get 7 nights of information, constant videos, and tests. Now, the videos are, I guess you could say they're good. They're good informational videos, but the tests are really where it's at. Whenever you take the test at the end of each video, you're going to be learning all the way from A to Z about CPAP, things that you may or may not have already heard, most likely not, and things that will help you with your CPAP journey to get better and better at it. Tip number 22, moleskin tape. So I'm talking about moleskin tape because so many times I see people, especially right here between your eyes, you're using a full face mask. You maybe have a little thinner skin right there, sensitive skin. You're putting the mask and tightening it up possibly too much. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But the skin is breaking down. Well, a good solution for that, if your skin is breaking down there, is to go to pretty much any CVS, Walgreens, and buy something called moleskin tape. Cut out a piece, tape it there, then put your mask on. It provides a barrier between your skin, and it's breathable. And then when you you wash your face in the morning, and when water contacts the moleskin tape, it's just going to pop right off of there and not damage your skin. So really love moleskin tape. And that's kind of a little kind of low key hint, as well as is this one, tube socks for rainout. So they do sell for your CPAP tubing insulation that goes on the outside of the tubing. But if you don't want to buy that, you could actually just use tube socks. Cut the toe out of the tube sock and run that on the outside of your CPAP tubing all the way from the machine to your mask. Use maybe rubber bands or something to hold it in place, especially in the winter time. That's going to be really a great tool to reduce some of the rain out. Tip number 24, we're rolling right along. The CPAP hose lift. I can't tell you how many people have bought those from us and are loving them. So the hose lift just goes to the head of your bed. It's like $15. It has a bar that raises up and a loop at the top. So you run your CPAP hose from your mask through the loop and then down to your machine. It does a couple of things. One, it reduces leaks because there's less weight of the hose pulling on the mask, so you're going to leak less. It reduces the amount of rain out that would run into your mask because the water is going to run the other way on that part of the hose. It reduces the chances of you actually pulling your CPAP machine off of the table if you're a rough sleeper, and so many things. It's just a really wonderful little tool, and I recommend them for everyone who has a CPAP. Number 25, a level neck position. So if you're lying in bed and you're using your CPAP and you have your head way back, that's going to be uncomfortable. If you have your head way forward, you're going to be very likely to get something called aerophagia, which is just where the air pressure actually goes in through your esophagus and into your stomach. So if your head is down like this, you're going to probably wake up with a lot of painful gas and bloating. So level position is the very best. Once you're lying down, you want it as level as possible while you're sleeping. It improves your CPAP tremendously. They do make some neck braces that kind of hold that a cushion that will hold your neck in the proper position. But I think really just positioning the pillow right, you're lying on your side, hopefully get that neck level and fall asleep. All right, number 26. Especially for beginners, know that you can use the ramp repeatedly. I was surprised. I set up a CPAP and I had actually more than one customer over the past few months who said that they just can't do it once the ramp. Now, let me go back up and tell you what the ramp is if you don't know. The ramp is where once you got your CPAP mask on, you can turn the machine on and then hit the ramp. It's a button on your machine. It's shaped like a little triangle. It lowers the pressure temporarily for a certain number of minutes, depends on how it's set. Typically it's set at 15 or 20 minutes. So it would lower the pressure, and over the next 15 or 20 minutes, it gradually will ramp up to your prescribed pressure, and then it would stay at your prescribed pressure the rest of the night. And the ramp is extremely useful for people who are new on CPAP because you can actually reactivate that ramp as many times as you want to. So let's say you're going to sleep and 10 minutes have passed and the pressure is starting to feel a little too high. Hit the ramp button. 15 minutes has passed and it's feeling too high. Hit the ramp button. So just do it over and over again. Eventually you fall asleep. Now, sometimes that is actually a better setting to have a manual ramp than it is to have an auto ramp. Now, the auto ramp on many of the new machines is one that sort of, it looks at your breathing waveform, and based on whether or not it thinks you're awake, it adjusts the pressure accordingly. So based on your breathing waveform, it can know if you're awake or asleep, and it will adjust the ramp automatically. But if you're not falling asleep, then you really don't have much control over that. So I like being in control, and sometimes the manual ramp is better. So that's something to consider, talk to your doctor about, but use it as often as you like, because eventually you're going to be asleep and you'll be getting your prescribed pressure. Leak test your mask. I told you we're going to come back to those who just tighten their mask up too much. I think most of the people who tighten their mask up too much are doing it this way, the following way. They are putting their mask on first, tightening it up, and then turning on the CPAP machine. So it's just a simple little tip, but change that up, change it up. And what I think is better is to actually put your mask on very loosely, so loose that you know it's going to leak. Okay, you know it's going to leak. It's just kind of hanging there. Turn the machine on, and then gradually tighten it up just until the leak stops. So just tighten it up a little bit, top, bottom, and keeping it level on your face, but tighten it up and just until the leak stops. Now, once that leak stops, one more very important step: look left, look right, look up, look down. And if you sprang a leak in any of those movements, then go ahead and just put just a little bit more on it. And it shouldn't be super tight at this point either, by the way. It should be reasonable, okay? And so then do it again, and there's no leak, and now you have the mask on. And what you have achieved by this process is the mask is as loose as it possibly can be, but it's not leaking. So the leak test is really a great way to do that. And our final tip that I want to share with you is this is really Chris talking here. Okay, I think one should measure success through symptoms, and not necessarily through the app. The app, for one thing, lately, you guys know the app that tells you, you're 100, you made 100, or you made a 92 or a 95 or whatever it might be, or 70. The app, lately, the data has not been streaming through as well as it used to. So I think the best thing to do is really keep in mind what sent you to the sleep lab in the first place. Don't forget that perhaps, it's different for different people, obviously, but for most is that they wake up with headaches. They wake up feeling very tired, worn out, like the day has already, ended and the day is just beginning. Possibly a lot of snoring, high blood pressure, and other issues as well. So just look at your symptoms, and not necessarily that app. Now, I'm not saying the app's bad. The app is good, but pay more attention to your symptoms, because it is possible to get good numbers on the app and not be getting really good REM sleep. So that's something that you would want to confront your doctor with if you feel that that's you. All right, good. Well, now we have gone through them all. Once again, I want to thank my wife, our sponsor at prettythingsboutique.com. She puts up with me doing these videos. As a matter of fact, she let me do it. I'm in her boutique right now doing this video because she has better internet than I do. Now, if you haven't already, make sure that you enter into comments #affinityhm.com, and in just a minute we're going to be doing a drawing for a giveaway to our website. So let's take a look over here at your comments. I see we have a lot of people here with us tonight. Wow, this is awesome. Kimberly, hi Kimberly, I hope you're doing well. I see Freedom is here, and Martha Hopkins, and there's Freedom, and some other people. Linda is with us. Hi Judy. Judy's with us, and I appreciate you all being here. I see Paisley is with us as well. So let me see if I can find a question that we can answer right here on the screen. Okay, here's something I did. I actually forgot to mention this too. So Freedom, if you don't mind, I'm going to put your comment up here. I went from an F20 mask to an N20 nasal mouth with mouth tape. My AHI now is below 6 per hour too. Keep my mouth shut and breathing completely from my nose. No dry mouth, and I use the humidification every night. So that's something I didn't mention, and that is the mouth tape. I think the mouth tape is something that some doctors are okay with it, and some doctors will say don't do it. So that's something, check with your doctor. But the idea is similar to a chin strap. So with a chin strap, it's just keeping your mouth closed. But obviously, it is possible that air pressure could still pop out your lips, even though your mouth is closed shut, right? However, not very likely. Most people who use chin straps, the mouth does stay sealed. The lips stay sealed without any pressure issues using a chin strap. But then there are definitely people who, even with a chin strap, the mouth comes open, makes noises, and it just doesn't work. And mouth tape may be a good solution. Possibly check with your doctor on that. But mouth tape is something that I probably should have talked a little bit more about, but okay. But we did now. So let's see if we got any more comments here. Great comment, Freedom. Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's everybody. There's one last chance. If you're just now joining in us, write into comments, hashtag AffinityHM with no spaces. And you're going to be entered into the contest. And we're getting ready to actually go ahead and pull the trigger on this right now. Let me make it a little bigger so you can see it. And let's see who is going to win a gift card to affinityhm.com. So our winner for the gift card to affinityhm.com tonight is Paisley Jane. Paisley Jane watching us from YouTube. Thank you, Paisley. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Paisley, since you're watching from YouTube, what we need you to do is just send me an email to admin@affinityhm.com, and I'll shoot you back through the internet a gift card to our website. And you can use it on any product that you like, and happy shopping to you. So all you other guys, go check out our website. We've got a lot of really great products there, affinityhm.com, all the way from the CPAP Academy for Beginners, which is a great video project that we did, an instructional course with tests that are fantastic. So check that out. Also, we have CPAP masks, we have CPAP machines, we have great discounts, 15% off right now. So definitely please support us that way if you can. And appreciate all of you guys being here. And I look forward to seeing you again ASAP. I will let you know. I hope you all have a good night. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.